What's up guys, this is Steve with Rockstar Eater, and in this episode we're going to be doing something very interesting. I'm going to be comparing authentic Kung Pao chicken to Americanized Kung Pao chicken. Now there's not really too many of these type of episodes on YouTube, so I thought this would be very helpful to all you guys out there. And maybe some of you guys don't really know what the difference is between American and authentic Kung Pao chicken, but like a lot of the foods that come from Asia into the United States, some of it, or I would say probably most of it, has been altered in order to suit the Western taste. So in this episode, I'm going to be giving you a glimpse of what real authentic Kung Pao chicken looks like versus the Americanized version. So we just arrived here at the SICHUAN Impression restaurant, and this is one of the new and upcoming restaurants here in Los Angeles. They opened their first location in the Alhambra area, and now they have about, I think, 3 locations around Southern California, but I think that this is definitely a good place so that we can try authentic Kung Pao chicken, so I can show you an example of what it looks like in its most authentic form that I guess you can find here in the United States of America. First of all, we have the main attraction, the chicken here. It's just cut in these diced cubes, so it gives it a very nice flavor overall if it's diced like this. And then along with it, we have some of these peanuts that they put in the Kung Pao chicken, along with some scallions right there and some red peppers. And then the sauce itself is the kind of like a dark brownish sauce, a little bit on the thick side. It's supposed to be kind of sweet and a little bit spicy. Now every chef, depending on what chef it is, has their own different recipe for what kind of sauce that they use. But overall, that's kind of the overall appearance of what an authentic Kung Pao chicken is supposed to look like. And in terms of the taste, of course, like I said, it's supposed to be kind of slightly sweet, slightly spicy, as well as even slightly vinegary as well, but not too heavy on the vinegar. Just like I predicted, it's good. Sauce is slightly thick, kind of a sweet, slightly vinegary, a little bit of a spicy flavor. It's what an authentic Kung Pao chicken is supposed to taste like. So I'm not surprised. This place definitely does deliver. A little bit of a trivia. Back in the old days when I was a kid, my family had a Chinese restaurant in Studio City, California called Uncle Ty's. They had the best Kung Pao chicken ever. I mean, when I was a kid, I was so blown away by it. Never was able to find that again. Now that we've had the authentic Kung Pao chicken here at the Sichuan Cuisine, or Sichuan Impression restaurant in Los Angeles, now I'm going to show you what the Americanized Kung Pao chicken looks like, which is pretty much everything else. So we just arrived at the Green Apple restaurant here in Studio City, California, and this is one of the more highly rated Chinese restaurants in this city. And I decided to choose this one because this is definitely a more Americanized Chinese restaurant and one of the more higher rated ones in the city. So I'm going to use the example from this part of town today. So like I said, Kung Pao chicken could be made in so many different ways in a more of an Americanized Chinese restaurant. But in this restaurant, let's see how they make it. So it looks like that they have their chicken that's sliced here, and so it's not the cube shape, so it's more of a thinly sliced, longer piece of chicken that they use here. And it seems like that they use they do have the red peppers there, and they do have the green onions, but they have these peanuts as well. But something is a little bit different in here. As you can see, they have zucchinis in here. They also have what's it, a red bell pepper in there. And the sauce itself is, it's kind of similar to the authentic one. I mean, it's that dark brown sauce, although I think this one is a little bit on the lighter side than what I had earlier. But you never know how the sauce really tastes like until you actually try it, which is what I'm about to do right now. But overall, like I said, this is what a Americanized Kung Pao chicken would look like. And in a lot of restaurants, this is what you would probably expect. I do know that there are a lot of restaurants that actually put water chestnuts in here as well, but this is kind of like more of what you would expect in a non-authentic Chinese restaurant that has Americanized Kung Pao chicken. A little bit of a different texture to it. Like I said, it's like a lot more meat in your mouth, but slightly on the rubbery side. But the thing that's missing here is the spiciness. And that's very typical, actually. In the more of Americanized Chinese restaurants, these dishes are not spicy, like, at all. Even though on the menu you might see the chili pepper sign, meaning it's spicy, that's really not that spicy at all. So a lot of what I taste here is kind of like more of that soy sauce, sweet flavor to it. Which is very typical of very Americanized Chinese restaurants. You would have to look for 4 basic ingredients other than the sauce. One, of course, is the chicken that's cube-shaped. The other one is the peanut. Another one is the scallions. And then, of course, the dried red pepper. So those are the only 4 ingredients that should be in an authentic Kung Pao chicken. But then if you go to more of an Americanized place that makes Americanized Kung Pao chicken, you could get all sorts of variations, really. And I just showed you one of the variations that you would find in a Chinese restaurant, at least out here in California. After analyzing the Kung Pao chickens at these different restaurants, as well as even thinking of my own life experience, I honestly have to say that the authentic Kung Pao chicken is definitely better than the Americanized Kung Pao chicken. Why? Well, because the flavor is better. It just has more uniqueness. There's more textures to the flavor. The texture of the chicken is better as well. And it just feels much better in your mouth overall when you eat the authentic Kung Pao chicken versus eating the more Americanized Kung Pao chicken. Now, it doesn't mean that I think the Americanized one is gross or anything like that. It still tastes fairly good in its own way, but it just doesn't match up to the authentic version. So there you have my 2 cents on the issue of authentic versus Americanized Kung Pao chicken. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do like or share this video on your social media, or perhaps comment so you can give some suggestions or even your thoughts on this issue. And if you really enjoy this episode, please do also considering subscribing to Rockstar Eater. That's the best way to support me so that we can continually bring you these awesome, fun episodes every single week. Just please hit the subscribe button underneath the screen, and you also hit the notification button right next to it in order to get the news on all the updates of these weekly videos that I upload. Once again, thank you for watching Rockstar Eater. My name is Steve, and I'll see you next time on this show.